All right. Freaking day 5, right? Yeah. Day 5, and that would be break of structure, BOS, and change a character. It's going to be a relatively shorter call if everything goes according to my plan. I don't really want to do this today. BOS, which is, I guess I'll type it out. Break of structure. BOS. Why is a spider? Don't even fuck. And change of, I'm about to spell this wrong, I don't even give a shit, which is CHOCH. So BOS and CHOCH. Break a structure and change a character. Pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, this is gonna be a pretty short video after I see what SPY is doing, because I'm super curious if it's doing what I think it's about to try and do. Okay, we're chilling. Okay. Today's actually gonna be a really good example. Cool. Maybe today's not gonna piss me off as much. All right. So if you had watched the last video from Thursday, turn my music off. You'll see we talked about trends. We have right here pretty clear, on the 15-minute, super clear trend higher all of today, which I stayed short majority of the day, which I don't know why, but right, trend, extension, retracement, extension, retracement, extension, retracement, extension, retracement. Okay. If you guys can see that real quick, take a visual note. Cool. Trend and break a structure and change characters are going to basically pair together, which if you saw the video from Thursday, you may already have some tell. When you create a high like this, I'll make these lines fatter real quick. When you create a high like this and then turn around and break through the high, you create a break of structure, because the structure is from this high to this low, all of this. So you have broken out of the structure, right? Show you another example. It's really not complex, that pretty much at all. Right here, there's another high, another break of structure, right? Followed by retracement. We then have another break of structure right there, and another break of structure, right? It's basically breaking previous highs instead of being a liquidity sweep, right? So right here, probably structure, and then we had liquidity sweep, right? So if I put this like right there, we didn't break structure, we swept structure, right? If I drop down to the lower time frames, you can see how this kind of looks on the 5-minute or whatever lower time frame would be to the trend. And there's the structure right there. We didn't break it, we swept it. See how it's a little different than like said here or here or here, right? So this is not a break of structure. This is a sweep of liquidity, which I don't think we've gone over yet. There's a video on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it, then great. Yeah, liquidity tomorrow. If you've seen the liquidity video, then it makes some sense. And one of how you can use break a structure is knowing, okay, break a structure, bam, we're likely to get a pullback, right? Where is a pullback coming to? Some type of building block, maybe. Look to take a long off of it or something, bam, right? Fair order block there, and then you got another order block touch, fair value gap, but we didn't touch it, right? So pairs of things, and this goes for all time frames, but a break structure is literally just when we break through the highs. Like right here, we see structure, high to low, and then we break through the high, creating, exactly as it sounds, a break of structure, right? Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. Let me see if I can find like what would be confusing. Okay. Is this a break of structure? Depends on the time frame you're on, right? Because 1 hour, yes, technically. 4 hour, no, right? So just like trends change based on time frames, so do breaks of structures and change of characters do, right? Versus like this, actually, yeah. Right, that is 100% a break of structure. Because no matter the time frame we look at, we've basically, other than the daily, we actually had a full candle close and broke through it. We didn't just sweep it. Like if we called this a structure high, which technically is, right, we're not calling this a break of structure because that is a full-blown liquidity sweep, right? And then before I trash this one, let's go ahead and pull this out. I think it's this one that we were using. Yeah. Right, so get rid of everything. Actually, we can use this trend. Talked about this trend the other day on the daily, I believe. Right? If this is a structure, is this a break? No. Okay. Liquidity sweep. Right? And then we had the here. Is this a break? No. I'm not saying that's a break. Now, why this is not a good example is because we're not actually in an uptrend, we're in a wedge. Remember, a wedge is creating like downtrend tops but uptrend bottoms. So high, lower high, equal high, kind of higher high. This is yet to be decided in my opinion. But we have low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? So it's wedging, forming a little triangle thing we got going on here. So it's not the best example versus if we actually go find a true uptrend anywhere back here. Right, you can see clear breaks of structure right here, right here. This one's a little frisky, but technically is a break of structure, just got messy for a second. And then on the lower time frames, absolutely, right? But here's this. So, right, we created the high here, we swept it. So this becomes irrelevant. Where's the next high? Bam. Did we break it? Not really, not in my opinion. Did we break it? Yes. Right. Here, does this become relevant? No, because it's a sweep, or just it didn't fully break structure, it just kind of wicked out of it. Bam. Once again, I'm not really calling that a true break of structure. Bam. I would call this a break of structure. Even though this all got really frisky for a little while. So not the best example on the higher time frames, but definitely like on a 1 hour. Let's go find a random. Here, we'll show a downtrend actually. I don't even know. It's probably pre-market. This is pre-market. Let me find an intraday downtrend. There we go. Nope. That is exactly where we were. Where's the downtrend? Have we really not had a down day in that long? What? Okay. This is decent. So we're in a downtrend, right? Because we have high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Clear downtrend. We had at first the structure would be all of this stuff right there. Okay. We drag this, what happened? We broke structure. Bam. I'm gonna mark this out. And I have it preset as BOS of a break structure. Okay. Now the next structure, aka retracement, is like all of this. Okay. Did we break it? Yes. Bam. Pretty simple. Break structure. Right? Now before I even draw it out, you can already see where the next structure is. Right here. Okay, so structure in a downtrend, you're looking for a break structure to the downside, aka continuation. Right? Bam. Broke structure. And then this day got crappy. So out of examples on the downside. Right. Show you one more super quickly since we're low-key speed running. Bam. Nice little downtrend. Right. High, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Cool. Downtrend. So this was the previous structure low. We broke it. Kind of rough. But even if you didn't want to count that, and say you use this low, it's not a break structure. Cool. Okay. But this is 100%. Damn, this all is real crappy right here in the morning. Because this is like a full clear ass break structure. Right there. Right. and then right there, and then right there, right? And then I would say this is the structure low, right? Did we break the structure? No. All right, let me see if I can't find like a pretty difficult one real quickly now that you guys understand the concept. Right here, okay? So we have a high, a low, and a lower or a higher low, okay? And then actually a lower high, right? So it went like this and like this. So it's wedging. It's really bad drawings, but hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm drawing, right? Oh, I deleted the wrong one, but you get it. So at this moment, if we're sitting here watching this candle, we have a structure point here and a structure point there, okay? Technically here. This is the lowest point, low and high. Okay, so when we broke above 188, bam, this is what created a break of structure. Okay. We did also technically break the structure, but with the 5-minute, it now uses the newest low, lower high, the newest high, if you would, which in this case would be right there. Okay. And this is actually a really good example of how you could use this. All right, so look, we pop higher, come back, retracement into a building block. We'll get ahead of ourselves. We'll learn this all this coming week. And then you can target the next break of structure, right? And then if you really want to get greasy with it, that break of structure, which you never really get, but, right? So moving ahead of ourselves, breaks of structure, pushes, okay? Retracement, break of structure, maybe. If you don't like it, then you don't like it. That's fine. If you don't like it, move. Are we still in an uptrend? Yes. Did we create a higher low? Yes. Okay. Is that a break of structure? Yes. You know, see what I'm saying? Okay. And on the lower time frames, I don't feel like going to 1 minute, but on like a 5-minute, you can go down to the 1 minute and it will kind of make more sense as well in intraday. Okay, so here's a rough downtrend. High, lower high. I would just call all of this a lower high, right, etc. And then we got low, low, low. Okay. Is this a structure? Yes. Did we break it? No, not really. So let's use this one, which you technically could even use this one if you wanted to midterm because it's on the 5-minute. If it's on the 1 minute, not really. But on the 5-minute, you absolutely can. Still no break of structure. Cool. So no clear break of structure. Bam. It's the first, technically this one. That's the first real break of structure. Okay. Come down, create a new structure. Where's the lowest point inside of this structure? Wow, good eyes. You saw it right there. Bam. Break a structure, right? Okay, what about in this range? See the lowest point? I know you do. This ain't Dora. Bam. Is that a break of structure? No. That's not a break of structure. Hopefully I don't have to explain why that is. Right, just like, is this a break of structure to the upside? No. Hopefully I don't have to explain how this is different than this, right? So, right here, this is where we can get into a change of character. Now, all change of characters are break of structures. Not, well, wait, hold on. All change of characters are break of structures. Not all break of structures are change of characters. So let me pull it out so you guys can see what that looks like written out. All BOS's, or no, wait. All CHOCHs are BOS's. Not all BOS's are change of characters, right? So all change of characters are break of structures. Not all breaks of structure are change of characters, right? Just like that old shit with the rectangle and square. I don't remember which one it is, but I'm pretty sure it's like all squares are rectangles, but not all squares are rectangles. Right. Cool. Hopefully that makes some sense. Okay, so here we are creating a structure. I would argue that this is a structure to here. Get rid of these lines for the time being, well, permanently. Structure to structure. Why is this now the structure and not here? Because where's the highest and lowest point in said box? Those two wicks, right? Because this isn't a break of structure and this isn't a break of structure. It's I would just call it an extension, or you could use this low if you really wanted to. Right, but we'll use these because they're now the current high and the current low. Okay. We dance around in the structure because this shit could continue on forever. We could shop in the structure for infinity as long as it so happily damn pleased. Now that's another sweet, but whoopsies. Right, it don't have to break structure. It was only until we broke structure here, bam, that this becomes a change of character. Now, this is a really bad example since we're in pre-market. So, you know what? Scratch all of this. We're going to find a new example. And there's one today. I'm going to use this one. So, it's actually a better example. Bam. Break a structure, right? We're going to use, we'll use purple for break a structure. We'll use whatever color CHOCH is for the lows. And then we'll use whatever color this other one is for the highs. OB. Red. That's too close. That's red too. Oh. Liquidity. Blue. Alright. Highs, breaks, structures, lows. Forget about these for now. Right. Just color coordinated. Alright. So right here, all for right now, we have a break of structure and a creation of another structure. Okay. You see this? Just like we had this structure here and this structure here, all of which we continue to break higher and higher, right? You see this? Break a structure, break a structure, break a structure. I already went over this like literally 10 minutes ago. So if this is now our new structure, to continue an uptrend, and we'll add this high. To continue an uptrend, we would have to break structure to the upside, right? We come down, boom, whatever, right? And this would then become a break structure. Or if we don't, we do not actually have a break of structure to the downside. See? Because this was the structure when we broke down. And if you're like, well, that's a little too early, remember trends, right? So, safest bet is you say, okay, this is the change of character. Either one would be fine, but both are breaks of structure, right? You can either count this as a structure on a low time frame, as we see here on the 5-minute, or if I go to the 15-minute, probably even the 1 hour, I'll show it a little better. There's not even a structure. You could count all of this, which technically, yeah, it's a little rough because it'd be like this is a structure. Well, to here. Drop down back to the 15-minute chart. That's the structure, right? So we technically break the lows. Okay. So that's how you get a change of character. Now it's a really bad explanation. I'm well aware. Let me show you by a line. Okay. Break structure, right? We broke through the highs. Okay. Structure forming. Right, you can sit here and dance all day long as it fucking pleases. And I'll draw it out so you can see it. Break structure. Structure forming. Break structure. Forming structure. Break of structure. Forms new structure. Break of structure. Continue this on so we can use this for multiple examples. Probably should have drawn this better. Okay, so looking at this, what do we have here? Talking about trends. This is an uptrend. All of this is an uptrend, right? Low, higher low, higher lows, higher low, higher low. Bam, great. Well, we broke structure, and we broke structure to the downside, creating a new low. Okay. So this break of structure is actually a change of character, because this is the first point in step 1 in trends and whatever the fuck we went over on Thursday. But this is the change of character of it changing from an uptrend to a downtrend, right? This is why all change of characters are break of structure. That's why I literally have /BOS. I didn't even realize that. Because we broke structure. If structure is this point right here, this little rectangle, we broke it to the downside. Now that break also changed character, right? Because it puts us into a downtrend. Now, just because we broke the lows, as you learned on Thursday, does not make it a downtrend. It only becomes a downtrend. Sorry, I was reading something. It only becomes a downtrend, in my opinion, when you create step 2 of trends, right? Which was lower low, lower high. So this, in my opinion, change of character is step 1, and then step 2 would be the lower high. How can I draw that out? Let's go like this, right? And then we continue on, right? This is not a change of character. This is a break of structure, right? And that's why I added all these fucking dotties around, because it shows the structure pretty clear. Okay, so break of structure. Bam. We had another break of structure, which, look here, I'm just going to drag this one back into here. Okay. Now, actually, hold on. Bear with me, because it's going to get a little complicated, and I don't feel like making it really complicated on myself. Not for you guys. So, break of structure, downside. We form another structure. Look at that. Crazy. Okay. So when we break out of the structure high, what is that? Is it a BOS? Yes. Is it also a change of character? Yes. Bam. Change of character. Okay. Get rid of these. Bam. Right. So then, where's the highest point in the structure? Bam. What are we looking for? A break of structure. Right. Which this would be blue. Hopefully you get the point. I don't even need to change color. Hopefully you understand. Right. Change of character is when you change from an uptrend to a downtrend, or just opposite of continuation, literally. So, see if we can't find some real examples. Let's go find where it pivots. There you go. Let's actually do something. Clear pivot. Let's go to the 5 minute. Get more details. Clear downtrend. We're gonna look from like this point to here. Okay, all of this right here. This is our area of business, which we could, fuck, never mind. We're gonna use all of this. Cool. So we're gonna use this as a start point, as a low. And we're gonna make this back to white for the time being, so it doesn't have any meaning. And this would be, well, so look, we have, as we talked about, you have a high here. Green candle, red candle, right? Push down. We have a low here. Red candle, green candle, push. And we have a high here, right? We come down, we create. Now this is a little complicated, and this is why it doesn't have to be the same colors alternating. So this would be the new low, and this would be the new high right there. Okay. So the most recent high and low would be here and there. The one I just deleted by accident. Not even thinking. Okay, so what's the highest point for the high? This, pink. And what's the lowest point? Pink. So when we come through it, let's go down. I'll do 1 minute. Fuck it. So when we come through it, what do we get? A break of structure. Bam. Technically right here, this is forming a structure, but this is just where it gets overly complicated. I'm not gonna lie. Trends and structures are gonna be your favorite on the 5 minute. And to be safe overall, guys, when you see stuff like this, I know I'm like all over the place today. My brain is cooked. When you see all of this, what is that? Is that chop or is that a trend? It's chop. Okay. So when you see this and when you're able to go, oh, cool, we're just literally in this box and have not broken out, just use that. Just honestly use this as the structure low and the structure high. You're gonna thank yourself in the long run. I really mean that. Right, and we'll go back to the 5 minute. And you can see how this starts to put itself together. You should already be able to see this. Okay. This is not a break of structure. This is a wick. Okay, on the 5 minute. That's why 5 minutes your friend. So we could technically move this to here because it's still within the structure, which I'll do. Bam, break a structure. Cool. Now we are technically in an uptrend, right? Step 1 of the uptrend has been created. We have created a higher high. High, higher high. Check. Step 2, we're looking for a higher low. Bam. We created a higher low. We are now in an uptrend. Okay. We continue this on with break of structures and all the way up, right? High, lower high, high, lower high. High equal low, technically, with the wicks. Break a structure. Well, I would honestly just call this fucking structure. Just call that a fucking structure. This all's fucking messy. Break of structure. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. Bam. Okay, at this point, I would low-key literally call like all of this a fucking structure. Like this is all just so nasty, and it's because it's overnight. Right? No, it's not. That's 2 p.m. I'm an idiot. It's 2 p.m. on a Friday, which you'll get to later. But right here, this is a structure. Okay? At this point, we broke through the structure lows, aka creating a what? A change of character. Right? Why? Because we're not seeing a continuation in the uptrend. We are seeing a break of structure in a counter trend, in a downtrend, in a change of trend. Right? So bam, we move lower. Right? High, low. Right? And you're like, oh well, why is this not a low? It ain't even the lowest. Actually, it is technically the lowest point. But really, you don't count that fucking wick. Go fuck yourself. Okay? And you can't even trade right then, so get fucked. Bam, low, lower high. So at this point, this is 100% a trend change because we now have. I'm gonna use this actually. High, low, lower low. See how the trend has changed? I hope so. You ain't here to tell me no. Bam. Extension. Here's it. I'm gonna use the rectangle, not this. Here's a new structure. Which way do we break out of it? To the downside. Wow, crazy. What is that? That's a break of structure. Not a change of character because we're continuing, not changing. Break of structure. Bam. This is rough, but this is technically like a 1 minute structure, just in between here. Okay, which one do we break to the downside? Cool. Bam, we broke down. Retracement. At this point, did we create a higher high? No. Why? Where's the high? Right there. Did we break that? No. So still equal or lower high. Cool. Now here, do we create a lower low? Absolutely not. So what am I calling this? I'm calling all of this a fucking structure. I don't give a fuck. This is all a structure. And honestly, all of this, when you start to see shit like this, don't even fucking try and trade. Bam. What do we get? Break structure. Cool. Downside. Up. Bam. Bam. You see how this kind of flows? And then look, you're right back in the structure. At this point, when you have measured out or marked out the structure, in my opinion, and this is again is overnight, so just bear with me. But when you can mark out a structure like this, if you want to trade to the upside, you need to break the structure to the upside, aka trade with the trend, trade, when you have an uptrend. Right? We're in a downtrend and in a structure. There's no point in like hopes and dreamings that we're gonna break out now. This time's different. No, it's not. Okay. Now, as if you watched or paid attention over here in trends, we know we can be in a downtrend and have an uptrend because it's called a retracement, right? So this is probably like a 15-minute downtrend, and then we see technically a 5-minute uptrend, aka a retracement on the 15-minute, right? But, however, no matter where you put your break structure, whether you put it here, fucking here, or even here, we break all of it. Cool, we're still in a downtrend. Where's the highest point? The previous, like the new low high, right there. Bang. Leave that there. Create a low. Now we are in a even 1 minute, well, technically a 5-minute uptrend, right? Because you can see low, higher low, higher low, higher low. I don't have to continue to repeat myself because you see it. Great. Are we counting this as this part? Ignore this big green candle. We'll get there in a second. Are we counting this as a break of structure? I'm not. I mean, maybe. At least step 1, right? which after you break a structure, you look for a retracement to a building block belonging out of Julian this week. So you wouldn't even be in at this point. But you see that we have how to break a structure, just more fucking chop shit. And at this point, it's up to you if you want to trade. I'm not trading that because you don't get an entry. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Where's your building block? What are you longing off of? Where are you longing? See a fair value gap? See, did it hold equilibrium? If it did, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Nope. So I don't know what the fuck you're longing off of. Did we sweep any sort of liquidity and create an order block? Nope. Okay, so there's not shit right there. So that's not a long. And just like there's no short because you never broke structure to the downside with a change of character. We are in an uptrend, no change of character on the super zoomed in time frame, right? Where the fuck? Okay. So at this point, this is your new structure, and this is sometimes how I come into market analysis thinking. Which technically is at 9:30. No, it's not. That's not even 9. And this is CPI or data, whatever came out this morning. There's your structure with this being the high. Not exact. So what happened? We broke structure, and we broke structure out of all of this nonsense we had been seeing overnight. Break structure to the upside. Cool. Bam. We rally up. Get rid of that. Sure enough, look. Is this fair value gap? Yes. Did you get a retracement into the fair value gap? Yes. Could you have longed this if you were awake at 9:30, 9:45 in the morning, 8:45 in the morning? Yes, you could have. Bam. Okay. Little sneak peek. Break structure, retracement. Break a structure, retracement. Break a structure, retracement. All the way up until today. Literally. Where the fuck did market open? Is my time off? Whoa, my time is off. That was 9:30 in the morning. What the fuck? That's so weird that my time was off. Has it been off on the other ones? Huh. Okay, so you could have taken that. That was market open. I was right. Bam. Broke structure, long. Bam. Right. Continue on. Uptrend, 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 uptrend until here. Where's the structure? It's clear as day. And I've already showed you the example like 3 times. Bam. Okay, so if that's your structure, where is your break of structure? The downside. Wow, crazy. Let's go ahead and mark that out. Okay, are we in an uptrend? Yes. Is this a break to the downside? Yes. So it's counter trend. It's changing trend. So that break of structure is also considered what? A change of character. Crazy. And then bam, we move down. Right. Extension. This currently is the new structure in my opinion as of right now, but it's after hours, so I don't know what the fuck is going to happen, nor do I really care. So your current structure is from this point to this point. Right. And if you break to the downside, it is a break of structure, not a change of character. Why? Why would it be a change of character? We're just continuing the downtrend, right? See how I said continuing and not changing? Take note. But if we changed from a downtrend to an uptrend, what would that be? That would be a change of character. And you might say, well, Sam, if you zoom in all the way, you can see it's in an uptrend. Yeah, you're right. But do you want to catch this tiny bit or you want to catch this tiny bit? Okay. We got to remember, trend changes based on the time frame you're on. So look, it's like technically this is the change of, or the break of structure. Well, change of character, yeah. So much fucking shit. Now, let me put it into perspective. Now that you understand what it is, the relevance of this shit is not severely important. Okay. Coming into the market and going, oh wow, I see a break of structure. That means I'm going to long because we're in an uptrend. That alone is not going to help you. Okay, just like shorting, because you see a change of character to the downside in this example, and shorting is not going to help you. Okay, the reason we are going over this as fast as humanly possible is 1, because I'm tired, and 2, because you need to know the terminology. Right, as you see right here, this example, we had a break of structure. Bam. We see the retracement. Bam. Into a building block. Bam. You long it. And, you know, you can catch that in so many different ways. Just like if we go look at SPY, was it the Qs? I think it was Qs, actually. Saw it this morning. Yeah. Go back on the 5 minutes, same fucking thing. Look at this. Held this supplies level, or demand level. Okay. So multiple different ways you can catch moves like that. So, but really just understanding terminology is going to be the most relevant part of what you learn today. This is going to work the best on the macro, right? So if I'm going to go replay. Let's go into 1 hour. Yep. One live example. Watch me just absolutely butcher this. Random bar. All right, cool. Clear as day. Wow, we are way back here. We're in 2010. What do we see right here? I see a structure. I don't see no trend. This is my structure. Turn this bitch way the hell up. Does that break a structure? No. That is literally just an extension of said structure. This is now my structure. Can I make this any faster? Is that a break structure? No. That's an extension of said structure. I really hope it's going to give me a break structure here. Is that a break structure? Yes. Let's start looking in. This is where I'm targeting right there. Oh, look at that. I actually hit it perfectly. Why? Because there's a fair value gap in that range. I promise you. If I went, it could go to a 15-minute. It'd be long right there. And you would target just up. Okay. Bam. Look at that. Perfect. Oh my god, it couldn't be any better. Probably should have been zoomed in the entire time. What is this? I'm gonna call this my structure. Now that wick is gonna really hurdle all of this. See if we can't get a break out of it. Damn, dude, this shit explodes. We're on a too high of a time frame, I think. Can I get a break above this highest clear break? There we go. Break structure. For this example, just call all of this structure. There's many structures within it, but just call this. Cool. Break a structure. What's the next step? Look for retracement. Why? We're in an uptrend. Uptrend, cool. Okay, pair it with some crazy shit. Let's go here. What do I see? I see a fair value gap in this range, and I see volume imbalance right there. I have no idea if this is going to work because I have no idea what the hell happened in 2010, but maybe you guys do. Volume imbalance, I'm 90% sure. I almost want to say it's a guarantee we fill that blue box. Look at that. Now the question is, can I long the fuck out of this? Can this work? Okay, and I'm not putting a stop loss because you guys don't need to know about that shit. Kind of, not really. Depends on what you want to call. Entered here, could have taken profit there. It's your call, but you can see how this shit works when it's put together. All right, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here and call it a day. That's already an hour past my work day. So, wow, that is some very mundane price action. If I saw that, I'd probably hate my life. Except low key, look inside of the trends. They're kind of nice. Uptrend, retracement to the fair value gap, bam. Retracement to the fair value gap, bam. Retracement to the fair value gap, nope. But there is an order block. Why? Because we slipped liquidity. Bam. Order block. Downtrend. Bam. Bam. Break structure. Bam. Retracement into a fair value gap. Yep. Bam. Long. Retracement into fair value gap. Yep. Long. Is there another one? I need a retracement. Deeper one. No. I was really hoping for a retracement in there. Bam. Retracement. Bam. Bam. This is just some crazy shit, right? Where's your structure? Here's your structure. That's really high up there. Okay, bam. Look at that. Break structure to the downside. Clear as fuck. And look at the retracement paired that came after it. Change of character and break structure. That's both. Fair value gap. Bam. You target. Closing liquidity. Bam. And potentially bam. Now there's definitely some more in the lower time frames. Got one, and doesn't look like you're gonna get two. Yeah. There's a break structure again because you have to change character right here to the upside. Why the hell did it just move like that? There's a definite break of structure. Let me see if I can get a retracement. Bam. You'd take the long off of this. And then target like the highs. Nope. She just don't want to work today. Welcome to trading. All right. Once again, the reason I'm rushing through this so badly is one, because I do not really want to be doing this. I'm ready to fucking go eat some food or something. How do I get out of this? I already forgot. There it is. And two, because it's not as important as you guys may think. Understanding the terminology, understanding how trend work is great. If you don't want to use break structure and change character, great. You can call it a fucking breakout and a change of trend. It really doesn't matter. As long as you guys understand when you can see chop and not a trend, literally look right here. Are we seeing a trend? From point A, yeah, I'm gonna call it this point, to point B, current, is this a trend? No. In my opinion, no. And anyone who's been trading is gonna tell you that is not a trend. That is chop, okay? So this entirely is your trend, or is your structure, okay? What does that mean? If we go down the 15-minute chart or the 5-minute, we're not going to see change of characters and break structures? No, they're absolutely there. All of this is dependent based on the time frame you're on, just like trends. Cool. So, really, let's go back to the notes. Okay. Both are dependent on time frames, like trends. Come on now. BOS is continuation, if I spell this right, of trend, and COH is change of trend. Okay. If it's not trending, aka chopping, then it's forming a structure. Okay. Yeah, and any other notes you guys want, but that's pretty much what I'd write down. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's really not rocket science. It's just, if trend changes, change character. If it's continuation, you gotta break structure. I love how I took a simple concept and make it a 42-minute video. Lovely. Okay, tomorrow is liquidity. This is relatively important. However, there is already a video on my YouTube channel. Part of me just wants to give you guys a video. So if you want to be an overachiever today, go watch the video and DM me the questions, or just put the question somewhere. We'll vote on if you guys actually need it. Because if you don't, then I ain't gonna make it, and you guys can just watch the one I already have. That's what I'm gonna do. I've been giving homework. There's your homework. You're gonna have to watch liquidity video on my YouTube channel. If you watched this and made this so far, great. You did the homework. If you didn't, fuck you. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.